Welcome, everybody. It's another Monday night, and you know what that means.
Mondays are for the mind.
It's Chase and Shep. Let's go. It's the April edition of Mondays Are For The Mind. Vibe with us and thrive with us all month long as we have new guests and returning guests right here on the show. And if you're looking for more, hit up chaseandshep.com, baby boy. It's a celebration. Sheesh.
Hey.
I was just vibing over here.
Yeah. You know, I may have said this last week. If the intro video feels longer than usual, but it's shorter than the other ones, which is crazy.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Weird. Crazy. You know, that's what April brings you. You know, all sorts of craziness. Of course, you know, we've been running around filming all sorts of stuff this month, very busy, but we're not the only busy people, and taking some time out of that busy schedule to join us for the third time on this show. It's Tyler Jacob Moore. How are you doing?
What's up?
Hey! Woo! Ow! Yeah! Figured out third time in a row. It's amazing. Once a year we do this checkup, make sure we're all alive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the intro has been significantly different every time.
Yeah.
Wildly different. You guys have
This is
progressed.
very true.
Yeah, I like it. It's a lot more of your own, all your content and all your stuff and like behind the scenes and stuff. It's very cool. I dig it. Just for the record, I have to say this. This is a joke. These two posters behind me are my co-stars from the show I'm doing on Hallmark. Right. We had a premiere screening, and they had these like character posters up. And we were all like, well, obviously our moms would love to have these. We're definitely stealing these. And we didn't have to steal them. They were very kind. Hallmark is very kind. And they're like, yeah, of course. I'm like, what are we going to do with them? So, but these two actors live out of the States, up in Canada. So they're like, well, we can't ship it. I'm like, listen, I'll bring it to you guys. But the penance is I'm definitely using it as my backdrop for like every interview. So now, like whatever interviews I do, if they're like Zoom or whatever, they are my backdrop.
Nice.
And I find it very humorous. Nobody else does probably, but yeah, I get a kick out of their big faces behind me. I have mine too, but you will never see that.
It's not out there?
No, I mean, I have it, but it is hidden
It's
away.
in his possession, it sounds like.
No, I get that. I'm
make
just
sure.
saying, Hallmark ain't trying to market that. You can't buy it. We can't get a poster.
Right. Yeah, I can't print it out on Google. Come on.
You can't. That's true. You probably could. You probably could. Yeah. If anybody wants one to like put in their attic to scare the rats away, I'm sure you could find my character poster or one to throw darts at. We'll see how this interview goes, you guys. I love this. I love coming on here because I've been doing all this press for the show, and it's just nice to like just hang out with you guys. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I know this feels very like backdroppy and very like LA, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know that I don't know that our audiences intersect. Like it's all beneficial.
Yeah.
All press is good press, but
I'm sure there's a few people, that cross over who enjoy Hallmark. I know my girlfriend is one of them. She's
really,
she's one of those crossover audience. She insisted when we were marketing this episode this week.
Yeah,
I would usually post it and put the usual suspects: Shameless, Barry, Once Upon a Time, whatever.
Right.
And she absolutely insisted that I put Grey's Anatomy. I was like, he was in like one episode of Grey's
Right.
Anatomy. It's ran for 20 seasons, and she's like, just do it, like just do it.
Just trust
She's
me.
been on a Grey's Anatomy kick recently, and we've been working our way up. And I'm like, we're gonna get there eventually.
Yeah, it is funny. Yeah, it's amazing that show's been going on now. How long now? Like 20 years? That seems like forever.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how long they've been going on. That's probably bad of me, but forever it feels like. Feels like they've just been like it's a part of TV. You know what I mean? It's like all the NCISs and CSIs. It's just like, well, yeah, they're just always there.
They're just there. Yeah.
Always on. How are you guys? You guys look great.
We are great.
Yeah, not too bad. We just was filming a little bits today.
Yeah,
what were you filming? What were you working on?
We just wrapped our next short today.
Oh, nice. Congrats. That's huge. Yeah. Can you give me like the general without giving anything away?
Of course. Absolutely. As is the tradition. Not only are you back for the April is a month of threes. We're capping off a trilogy now of 420 shows.
That's right.
We had our sketch shows the last 2 years. This year, we've been having success with our short films, and we wanted to keep with that. So instead of doing a sketch show this year, we decided to do a short called Chase and Shep Get Too High. And it's definitely, it's always fun to improve every time we do something. And this has definitely been one where we're like, I think this is the new best one.
Really?
We have returning characters from past projects. This is the first time we've done that.
Nice.
We have animation. We have green screen. A lot of stuff we haven't really played with before.
Right.
And yeah, it's a huge step up from the last thing we did. So
green screen and the animation is impressive to me. Have you guys done that before?
Just recently in February was the first time we got doing some animation. We've done voices for our friends over at Camp Nostalgic Studios. Our good friend Gela Rediger does our animation and a lot of artwork and stuff for us. So she did our Shacking Up with Shep segment for our Mondays on the Move back in February. So it was like a little love hotline.
Okay.
So we've dabbled a little bit, but this is the first time we're kind of doing some Roger Rabbit kind of stuff.
Oh,
so
cool.
It'll be fun.
That's really, and when is that finally going to be available? What you just
on 420? Yep.
Oh, right.
April 20th.
Yep. It's all making sense now. It's all coming together. Okay. Yep. So available you just finished shooting it. Available on 420. You're going to pop it up on your channel on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
10 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exciting. Are you going to have it all done by then? You're going to get it all edited?
Absolutely. It's the way we were just discussing this earlier. I was talking to somebody, I guess about 7-8 days ago. Yeah. And I was telling them everything we had to do, and we'd only shot one day, and it was just Shep and I talking on a couch. And so basically we had everything still ahead of us, the animation, the shooting, everything. And I was like, yeah, we have about 17 to 18 days before it comes out. And he's like, wow. It's like, if you think that's amazing, wait till April 20th when it actually comes out and we managed to finish all of that. Yeah. Seriously. That's our trick.
Yeah, it is. So like, I love, I mean, like my brother and I always made movies and like, just, no budget, do whatever you can do, make it happen. And so I love what you guys are doing. And the idea of just, just make it, just do it. Like whatever your budget, even if it's no budget, even if you literally like, stealing shots and like, getting kicked out of places or, whatever. Right, yeah. Like that's the indie, like that's what it should be. It should be these, no budget. And you learn, and like you said, it just gets better and better. You learn by doing, so every time you guys do something, especially these shorts, I'm sure you're learning a ton. You're figuring out the production, the line producing, like figuring out how to set things up and how, this, we can't do this, we can't do, here's what we have time for, here's what we can do. And you're doing everything, obviously, like all the jobs. So you learn all the jobs, like the sound and the lighting and the what, like, so it's awesome. I love what you guys do. I'm excited to see the next thing. Excited for 420 to see your video, not for any other reason.
Right. Yeah.
Because
nothing else is going on that day.
I feel like just by being in proximity, just by being on this, I'm definitely going to get a call from
Hallmark. The fuck is this?
Yeah. Hey, listen, Tyler, we appreciate you trying to promote the show, but these guys,
who are these guys? Who are these guys? You know, there's that category. You know, stoners. They come in all shapes and sizes.
That's right.
And there are
They
definitely
really
those
do.
stoners that like to
Hey.
blaze up and sit down in front of Hallmark
Yeah.
and
I was telling
enjoy.
I was telling somebody just the other day, like everybody deserves love and happiness and positive vibes and good feeling. And it's like Hallmark does that in spades. And it's like, yeah, everybody, including stoners. They
Right.
want, you want to sit down and watch like romance and rodeo and like love and this family. Like it's so funny. Like this is like doing all this press stuff and figuring out like I realized that I was really bad at press. Like because I'm just very transparent in general. So it took me, I had a bunch of media training where they like, put you through everything and they tell you, like where you're kind of messing up. And I was bad. I was very bad because I'm just going to be completely honest. And it finally, I finally figured out why, or what I needed to do to make, for it to work for me anyway. And one of my co-stars on the show, Tiara, who plays Missy, she was like, you actually like the show. You don't have to give the talking points. Like you don't have to, like you. And I'm like, oh yeah, I actually do like the show. There you go. Love it. Yeah, like so anyway, so like that was the key to unlocking. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have to like be nervous and sweaty and worry about talking points or worrying about whatever. It's like, no, like I legitimately, like we watched the show as a cast together and you never know how things are going to get edited and how they add the music and they add everything. And we all were just like, we're kind of fans. Like we're into it. Like that may seem a little egotistical to like your own show, but I was like, hey, I really think people like, I really enjoy it. So it's easy. What's that?
I said we watch our own shit all the time. So
right. You're like, oh, I'm good. Yeah. This is good.
Yeah, and it's fun to see that, to do all those different types of shots, shoot the beginning here, the middle there, the end at this, maybe you did the end first, and then being able to sit down and just see the story all at once. It is.
Yeah, you combine it all and it's like you're just one part. Like the actors are part, the directors, the writers, the sound, the crew, the people laying the cables, the people transporting, like everybody combines to make this thing. So it's like a lot of times, and there are a lot of scenes that I'm not in, and like, you read the scripts and things, but they're very different. They look very different on the day. The actors always bring something special. So it is fun to watch everybody else's scenes and be like, oh wow, that's great. I didn't know. Like, and they're it's like I said, that's once I figured that out. Like I don't have to try. Then it became easy. Then I was like, oh, okay, I can do this.
Definitely,
this is easy. So what else is going on? What else do you want to talk about?
Oh, what else? Well, we have our own experience here coming up. We did get cast in a movie. Shep and I.
Bury the lead. What are you talking about?
I don't know if we can say too much about it.
Okay.
I don't know how much we're allowed to divulge. I don't even know if we're allowed to say we're in it. But here we are.
Okay, so you can say you're in a movie.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Yes.
And can you say, is it like shooting in around the area?
It is.
Okay. And do you know like when it will be out in the world?
I don't know when it's going to be out.
Okay.
All I know is we have to show up the 22nd and 23rd of April.
Okay.
On set. And,
you'll be shooting. Okay.
We're excited about it. Just, with somebody we had on the show recently, it's their second film. I think we're allowed to at least say what it is. It's called Effed. Tales from the End of Time. And it's an anthology horror film.
Oh, nice.
And all 5 shorts, everything takes place at the end of the world. Is what it is.
Okay.
And we had somebody on the show not too long ago who had something that might fit us, and it just happened to be very on brand for us.
Oh,
so
nice.
Chase and Shep finally hopping universes, going.
We had to do our first audition.
Like we did our first video audition and everything.
Wait,
that was fun.
Did you audition together or separate?
Together.
You audition. Okay, so they're like, okay, we want to see you two like interact together. Like, here's the part. Here's what you do, and then you guys did it. Did you have to improv, or was it like just?
We improved. Well, no, I think we did a little bit of both.
We did it like Yeah, we did it like straight. We did it like our way, and then we did it like I was like, let's do a real serious
Yeah,
one, and then we
serious
just
one.
left like everything of
Yeah, the
just me
whole
and him
unedited video, we
laughing.
just sent that to them. We're like,
Great.
here's the whole thing,
Yeah,
and it
that's
really,
smart.
yeah.
Well,
So
clearly it's smart. They're like, yes, this
I
is
mean,
this is
it
what we
worked.
want.
Maybe we might have had the part to begin with, but who knows? It was still
No,
fun to do.
listen, you never know. I always say, like, listen, I'm always happy to read anything and try anything and put myself on tape because it's like, you never know. Yeah, and you never know what they're, looking for. And even if you like it's somebody and you're like, well, this is in the bag. We really don't have to, but it's worth figuring it out.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, we
Yeah,
still had a lot of fun with it, and now we
yeah,
have that tucked away to
that's
for our
so
own
cool.
pleasure. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm excited. You guys
we're
doing it
looking
all.
forward.
Yeah, you're getting into my world of like self tapes and all that stuff and
Yeah.
auditions and craziness. How does it
We
feel?
s- I think we need to start the campaign right now. Hallmark needs to open its doors to the stoners a little bit more. So Chase and Shep, we will volunteer to make
Yeah. Listen, you
a
guys need to
Hallmark
be
420.
Yeah, you guys need to be the listen. I'll come on here whenever you want. When you guys need to be the stepping stone, the bridge to bridge between. Listen,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who like to smoke, like to get high.
Well, it's legal in
They
a lot of
like,
states these days.
Yeah.
and it's
You
legal,
know?
perfectly legal, nothing wrong with it. And a lot of
Mhm.
people, want to partake and like, warm, fuzzy, happy feelings and like,
Yeah.
family friendly, exciting adventures and romance and all that stuff while they're maybe a little high. And I think you guys would be the perfect
We just
mouthpiece to get the word out.
we want them to experience what we experience every April, which is you come on the show, and then like we have like older audience members who are excited to see the show, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna tune into that one," and they can enjoy it. And then like the whole next week is us just promoting
Yeah,
420 for just
True.
yeah,
a week straight.
yeah. They're like, oh, I'm so
So
excited. And they're like, and then you
yeah,
guys
they're
bring
like,
in your
"Oh, this is
content.
so great," and get a few subscribers, and then they also go away
Yeah,
immediately after, and they're
well,
like,
they'll come,
"What the
but
hell is all this?"
you'll keep some. You'll keep some. So we'll be
We
like, you know
do.
what? I'm into
Yeah.
this. I'm into this. I dig it. Listen, I told I forget I was talking to the other day. I was like, listen, honestly, it's like a power evening. Sunday nights, like you watch our show, and then right after it, you get thrown into Golden Girls for like 2 or 3 hours, and then you get Frasier, and I'm like, this is fantastic. Like
Yeah.
I'm legitimately like, sit down on your couch, don't go anywhere for like 5 hours. This is great. And I think this is, yeah, it's right up the alley. I think you guys should really sell the after our show, what comes on for the stoner set. I think they'd really
Exactly.
they'd really
I
be into
mean,
that.
It's on at
to me,
4 in the
you could
morning for the
well, it could still be on brand because it's like you need some wholesome stoner content. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
yeah.
They need to be showing it in more of a positive light and show that this is just a part of some people's life on the side, but
Yeah.
they still can raise families and do all this cool stuff, at the same time.
I learned when I was younger. I was just out of high school. I was working at a head shop here in Champaign,
Okay.
and when I worked there, that's when I learned just how many people smoked weed, whether
Yeah.
they said they did or they not. Because you'd have your crackheads, but you'd also have these businessmen and like moms and like all sorts of
Yeah.
people coming in, you know. And
Yeah.
and actually, I just want to say, following that statement up, that the crackheads were actually the easiest customers because you always knew what they wanted. It was just a glass pipe, and then they'd be on their way. So
That's
they were
that's
always the
funny.
easiest.
I think everybody's a human, man. I think if you treat everybody like a human and treat everybody as equal, you'd be amazed at like how kind and lovely people are. Everybody gets a bad rap, or everybody has some stereotype. People look at them and they go, "Oh, you're a stoner, you're a whatever, yeah, crackhead, or whatever, or wherever you come from, whatever culture, whatever gender, race, whatever." And I think if you actually just treat everybody like a human and like yourself, I think, yeah, you'd be amazed at how nice, the vast majority of people, I would say, yeah, like, 99% of people are genuinely just trying to get by, trying to pay the bills, trying to have a decent life, trying to love their families and, hang out, love their loved ones. Like, that's it. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. So what else? What else you want to talk about? Let's get into it.
Well, what's
Death
that list?
penalty, taxes. Deep. No.
Let's talk about this show that's been keeping you so busy. I
Yeah,
mean, like
let's
like
get
we've
into
said, there might not be a whole lot of crossover. I know I did see it was on Peacock, and I do have
Yeah,
Peacock, so I was like,
yeah.
maybe I should watch this beforehand.
I think
I didn't, but I plan on it. I plan on
I didn't
Well,
know
checking
it
it's
was
it
funny
on
because
Peacock. I'm gonna check it all out now.
yeah, that's
because
what I tell people.
I hear you might be a bad guy, and I heard it from your own mouth. Really, well, actually, it was usually the press saying it to you, and then you being like, I don't know, we'll see.
Right, right, yeah. Well, honestly, it's funny because like I listen, if I had any answers, I'd tell you. I don't have any answers. I don't
Right.
know. I'm an actor. I play the part. I don't.
Yeah.
So, but I don't like. He's not to me. Certainly, he's not. The character's not a villain. You know what I mean? But that I mean,
Right.
you can't.
Yes.
An
Yeah.
actor. You know, I
Right.
can't. You couldn't go into that like that. But
Let's-
it's genuinely like, yeah, I think you'll genuinely like it. Like if you sit down with your girlfriend and like, you know, like it's a fun show. There's a lot of like rodeo and action and stuff too. There is romance and love and drama and things that you know are traditionally more Hallmark staples, but they are, you know, like their new programming. The Way Home is another one of their new shows, and this show, they are definitely you know, trying to broaden their appeal. And I really like that because I think their whole message, like their whole idea is love, you know, like showing positivity and love and hope and all these, like, you know, putting some good into the world on top of entertainment. And like, listen, I'm, you know, who can't get behind that? So I think I'm like, yeah, it's great. So they're just trying to bring that to more people. Like I said, you know, every culture, every gender, every whatever deserves to see, you know, themselves and be loved, and the stoners and the right.
Hey, Hallmark's
So,
always been
yeah,
there for us our whole lives. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
What's
saying?
that?
My birthday. I said Hallmark's always been there for us our whole lives. My birthday
That's right.
cards, the
Mhm.
graduation
right.
cards.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope to hear.
It is a weirdly wholesome, like good company, and the people, like the, you know, executives, everybody are genuinely like just very kind, like wonderful people. Yeah, I think they own that Hallmark cards, and I think Crayola and a couple of like, and they've got a new CEO and new head of programming. They're very smart women who are just, they're very with it. They know how to create good stuff and make good content while, you know, maintaining their values and the things, but also broadening and increasing, sort of pushing the envelope on their stories and things.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was a blast. Yeah, I was in Calgary for like four months or something, up there shooting this thing, and it was a joy. It's beautiful up there. Yeah, you have to. Oh, that's what I was going to say. You have to check out the show, because I know like all my millennial on down generations, like nobody has cable anymore. You know, sadly,
Yeah.
well, not sadly, it's just what it is. And so it's like, you know, I think Hallmark now is doing Hallmark Movies now, which is a streaming service you could get and watch all their stuff on that. But they also did this deal with Peacock so that people could, you know, access it and find it. And I think that's, you know, huge for us, at least for me, because all my friends, everybody I know, they watch it, you know, through Peacock,
Yeah.
and really like it. And they're like, we're so glad that we have this option, because they have, you know, they're like, yeah, we have that. That's, you know, one of the streamers that, you know, it's like Netflix and HBO Max and Peacock and the, you know, the standards for for a ton of stuff for a lower price. Because it's like, I know I get frustrated at like the million streamers. You know, it's like pretty soon you're like, this is almost the same as paying for cable, didn't we?
Yeah.
Wasn't the whole point of this to like do have less or pay less? And you like stopped getting cable and you're like, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we said, we both have Peacock. I do plan on checking it out at some point. We have a few other shows to finish up at the moment.
Well, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I know. That's hard too.
Yeah,
I think it's hard for a new show to sort of get its foot in the door for everybody, because there's so many, like so much content and good stuff, you know, like really high quality stuff. And it's like, you sort of have to earn people's audience, you know, you have to go, okay, our episodes have to continue to are good. You have to make good, you know, everybody has to be working really hard to make good quality content. And then you have to continue to improve it and get better and better. And thankfully that's, you know, this show does that. So it's like, you know, I don't really have to sell it, because I think that, you know, people will find it and go, oh yeah, this is good. And it only gets, you know, better and better as it goes. So yeah, I think it's great for people to check it out on Peacock and get caught up. And then, yeah, if you have cable too, you know, once you're all caught up on the episodes. I think it's episode 4 is this Sunday. And so, yeah, you should definitely catch up 1 through 3 and or binge them and check it out, and then tune in on Sunday, because I think it's like I said, it just gets better and better, and as we go, it's sort of like when you shoot a pilot and you can tell everybody's kind of figuring it out and going, okay, these are the characters and here's the story and here's how this is all going to work. It's kind of like that, for this show too, where it's like, yeah, you got to figure things out. And I think everybody from day one, it's wildly entertaining and good, but it just gets better and better. So I think it's sort of sells itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely be checking it out. Yeah, I mean, we've talked to our friends before as well, when it's like, we all make things. A lot of us have our own podcasts and stuff, and it's like,
yeah,
well, when we're all making things, who's watching this shit? Because we're all so busy, making our own stuff.
right.
So it is a problem we run into, where it's like, we know that some of our close friends, we're not caught up on each other's things, because it's like we're too busy making our own things. We're usually involved with each other's projects.
Yeah.
And so
that's interesting. Is that, like, I feel like now, especially like younger generations, it's like everybody is making content, even on whatever scale.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you have a show, then there's a show about the show, and then there's a show about the show about the show.
Right,
and then there's like a podcast about people talking about the show that is talking about the show. And then
I was thinking about that just the other day, actually. Yeah, like I was just thinking about, already when you make a film or a show, you create so many jobs. But now in this day and age, it's like it expands past that and creates all these other opportunities for people to monetize off of. I mean, YouTube, that's a big thing. Just people speculating, just making shit up and being like, what if this happens?
Right, like fan fiction or whatever. Or like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I bet this character is going to go do this, or I bet this is going to do that. And it's fun. And I think it's not a bad thing. Like, I think it's great that everybody has their own content. Yeah, go, like, have a podcast, have everything. Everybody should, have their opinions, and it's kind of a neat moment in time where it's like, hey, everybody can have a platform. Like, if your opinion or your voice is popular, or people like what you're saying or doing, then you'll get, a following and have people enjoy your content, and it's great. Exactly.
Yeah. Something you brought up a few times. It's funny because I kind of felt this way. What was it? Saturday, I believe we filmed with our summer camp gang, and we got almost our entire cast back together from summer camp of horrors, and we hadn't we hadn't all been together in like the 2 years since we shot it.
Yeah.
And so the fact that all but like 2 of us were there, it was just kind of surreal seeing everybody show up in their yellow and red shirts, and when everybody's together. My girlfriend was there, and she hadn't met a lot of these people, but she's seen a lot of clips from the show and stuff. She had a moment where she's like, she knew this was happening, but then she goes, I'm a little starstruck right now. Like, it's kind of weird seeing all these people, especially since they're all in character and stuff.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun. Like, it was just such a cool moment to be able to, bring characters back and get to reunite with our cast and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially now that we've elevated too. But I had a realization at that point as well that I talked to my girlfriend about afterwards of, actors really do have a different experience with this thing, because it's like they're all back for the first time in 2 years, and it's like we never left the world of Chase and Shep. We've still been doing this for years, and we've gone on different shorts, and so we've still been playing these characters, and we've still been developing the story, and we never left. But for them, they're like, hey, we did this thing. We showed up, we did the part, it's like, and then they leave it, and that's so interesting.
Yeah, it is a wild take. Yeah, you're right. It is so different. The different perspectives are vastly different. Like, especially for working actors, it's just you're on to the next thing, and you just it's all wonderful, and you appreciate every moment, but there's just no time to be in it or live in it, because you have to be on do the next thing. So it is it's got to be a wild experience for you to be like, well, we've just like like you said, they hop in, they're like, oh, hey, I remember all this. Oh yeah, and this is 10 projects ago, or this is, whatever.
Yeah,
if you guys are just like, well, we're doing other things too, but it's still, we're all very much in this world.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see how that plays out for me. Like, I think the show's doing very well. People seem to really like it, so that's great. And so, it's knock on wood, we get to do it again. But I think it'll be really interesting for me to sort of live more in that world. And I'm already seeing that. Like, this is the first time that I'm a part of something where I am actively a part of the promotion of the thing.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different thing, that's a whole, and it's a whole other aspect of the job. Like, if you guys make an indie movie, well, okay, that's all the hard work and all done. But now you have to sell it. You have to find a distributor. You have to do all these things. And so I'm starting to see a bit of that world where it's like mostly for the first, decade of my career, it was, I just get to act, I get to work on the craft and really focus on that and get, improve and be better and better and figure that out. And I didn't have to worry about, all the 1,000 other things that go on with a project. And so this is my first sort of dipping my toe into the world of, well, okay, great. You did all the hard work and but you're not really done, because now, people have to see it. Like we said, there's a million things out there. And even if you make something great, like, the show's really good. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I think, well, I don't have to sell it because it's good. Like, if people watch it, like, yeah, it's great. We did do Once Upon a Time together. Yeah. And in fact, it's funny. I had a picture of us on set on Once Upon a Time, Marcus and I texted it to him, and he was like, he was about to share the same picture with me. He played one of my brothers, the brothers of Prince Hans, on Once Upon a Time, and now he plays the bull riding superstar who tragically passes away. This is not a spoiler; it's very early on. And the family has to process that, but he's still around, and he's in, there are flashbacks and things, and he's very prevalent in the show. But it was funny because we didn't get to work a lot together, but when we were on set, I was like, hey, and that was so long ago for both of us. We both, have gone on and done a bunch of stuff. We were talking about, the actors move on and do other things. So it was really fun to see him again and be like, oh yeah, we got to hang out and catch up. Yeah, he's a very cool guy. But I was just saying, just commiserating, it is a different thing. And I'm starting to see a bit of your world as far as staying in the world and, while everything else goes on. And it's really fascinating. I mean, it's lovely. I like it because I like putting my all into something. And so to get to carry through with it and be like, okay, make the thing. And now if you believe in the thing, you go out there and try to, get the word out. That's part of it. And part of the job. And I think it's really, for me anyway, it's been really fun. I'm sure it wouldn't be fun for something if I was, if it was miserable or if it wasn't a good thing, but if you're actually a part of something that you like or, you believe in, it's easy to be like, hey, tune in, because, the people watching go, oh yeah, thank you. This is good. I like this.
Yeah.
I'm entertained. So it's fun. It's a wild thing. You guys, I don't know how, to stay in it and do not just the promoting, but everything else. I mean, everything. You guys are doing everything. Crazy.
Yeah, that's true. We're trying, and we're always looking back at what we've done on what more can we do with that? How can we push that out to a different audience or get it, like I know recently we were talking about hey, how can we get some of our older stuff on some actual streaming services, you know?
Right. Yeah, figuring all that, you have to find out the distribution, how all the business works. Crazy. How do you? Okay, we have this. We think this is good. Who do we talk to? Where do we go? What sites? What who are the distributors of that stuff? Podcasts. Well, there's all sorts of podcast networks. There's all sorts of ad places that will take you on and sell. But you have to get certain amount. It's which comes first? It's the audience or the ads or the revenue to then have the money to then pitch it to then get more, it's
we've definitely learned you just got to do it. It always comes back to that. You just got to do it. And that was our thing to start with of, I was like, hey, I want to make movies. I want to make shows. And,
Right.
why sit around and wait for somebody to pick this up when we can just put it on YouTube and make it
Yeah.
however we want to make it.
Yeah.
And, at least have this time of creative freedom to just,
I think
make it and get better and, practice. I know with Chase and Shep Get Too High, this is our challenge to kind of teach ourselves more about visual effects,
Okay.
computer wise. Whereas
Right.
our one in October, The Exorcism of Chase and Shep, we're leaning heavy into practical effects and playing
Okay.
a lot more in
You
that.
guys have done more practical effects in the past too. I think that was
Yes.
sort of where
Mhm.
you're home, or where you knew, you're
Yeah.
doing
Mhm.
something that you felt
Yeah.
comfortable with.
Well, we love practical. We're fans of practical effects, like in film and television. I mean, I think I'll always take something practical over something digital any day.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I feel the same. Like for example, this thing. I mean, we shot on location, and everything's like. I think you should give, like, I told this to somebody the other day. You should give all the awards to, like, actors that have to do, like, CGI, because it's so hard. Like, you're acting opposite nothing. And for this thing, I mean, you see beautiful mountains and prayer and, like, live working horse ranch and, like, or ranches and, like, people. It's all real. And so it's like, it's so much. As an actor, you're like, that's the dream. So yeah, I agree with you about the practical effects. Like being able, it's a way different thing as an actor. If I was in front of a green screen and standing there with Nancy Travis and they're like, okay, look over this beautiful vista and really admire and want to be a part of this beautiful land. Well, okay, as an actor, you have to figure that out and do it. But it's way easier if you're standing on a mountaintop, actually looking at, like, the Rockies and this just gorgeous, like, snow-tipped mountains and, like, prairie. And you're like, oh, well, this is much less difficult.
Yeah. As many times as we've been doused with fake blood, I just couldn't imagine having to pretend like that's happening with digital blood.
Yeah. Well, and now everything, like, all gunshots are fake. Like, they don't even used to. They'd have to do, like, blanks and have to do things where it was very, potentially dangerous things. And they've gotten much better about the safety of that. But then that also, you have to flex more of your acting muscle, because it's like, okay, you're shooting here, so you have to do this, but we're not. There's no kickback really, and we're all going to put it in post. The flash and the sound and everything. It's like, man, it's a harder thing. Yeah. So yeah, good on. I mean, I agree with you about practical, but it's better. Yeah, good on you for also learning about the CGI and the animation and the green screen, because I think that's just financially. I think they've found. Well, it's cheaper and easier, and that's, like, that's what you have to do sometimes, Like, you guys know, there's only so much budget, even when there's no budget, you still have to.
Yeah, figure out how to make it work at the end of the day.
Right. I think we just did one for Thanksgiving where Chase got shot in the shoulder, and then he's wearing an arm sling in the next scene. So we just roll with it.
Yeah, we just like, fuck it.
I see, to cover up. You're like, and now he's wearing arm slings, so you covered whatever.
If I'm not mistaken, I also believe it was the wrong shoulder. I think I got shot in one shoulder, and then in the next sequence, the sling was on the other arm.
Well, who's your script supervisor on this project?
Well, take it easy. Our script supervisor is usually my girlfriend, so she wasn't on that project though, and she
we
let
were
me have
rolling.
it a few times.
We were rolling
Jason,
by ourselves.
Listen, I don't want to give you the advice, but this is a horrible idea. You should not have your girlfriend as a script supervisor and calling you out when you're wrong about stuff. I think this is. I mean, maybe good for the show, bad for the relationship.
Maybe, but it's really come in handy for a few projects now, for sure.
I'm sure. I mean, that's great. Yeah, it's great.
Because that was something we definitely lacked in summer camp and everything.
Well, I was going to say, I was half joking, because I'm like, indie projects, you can't afford a script supervisor. That's crazy.
Right. Well, we just noticed, just at home watching things together, that she was really good at it, because she would see things in, finished productions that she's like, that's.
It's like, the watch was on the other side.
Yeah, there's one I know, like, she likes this movie, Someone Great, on Netflix.
Okay.
And there's like a scene, I think they're smoking a blunt or something, and when they pass it, I think somebody has it in their hand, and then, like, the next shot, they're like, hey, pass me that blunt, and it's like, but you just had it in your hand. She sees that stuff. She's Hawkeye about it.
Well, it was great. Yeah, good hire by you. Way to.
There's some movies that really lean into that.
We need you to do that.
Like Napoleon Dynamite was a movie that really leaned into that. I remember that one
Mhm.
scene with Napoleon and his brother and how, like, the cheese keeps going, like, big, small on the
Right.
chips, and then there's, like, one with no cheese on it. It's like they really some movies, like I'd like to think, Chase, me and you, that's what we do. Anytime I find a little
We
mistake like
usually
that, it's
lean
like,
into our mistakes. Yeah.
subconsciously, we meant to put that there. It's
We
all
meant to
good.
do that. That's
We
so funny.
always lean back on the excuse that like the universe is usually glitching around our characters. So it's like things okay, whatever. That was the excuse we fell back on summer camp. We were like,
Mhm.
yeah, sorry, the other universe us's were like, yeah, we're running out of time and budget and
Right.
best of luck to
Well,
you.
that's not unique to you guys. I feel like even
Right.
even big budget productions, like sometimes you just run out. Like you run out of time, money, or you just have to get a shot, and it's kind of crazy. And like you said, yeah, there's coffee cups in Game of Thrones, and there's
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
there's huge big budget people who are getting paid like to watch things, and it's like you still can't catch everything.
Oh, yeah.
Bill's made some really good calls. Yes, she has.
She has, Randy,
Bring
yes,
it back. All right.
Probably saved you on numerous occasions.
Watching it, but yeah, real quick. I will make sure we perfect it. Got it. Thank
Well
you.
done, Bill.
So I was watching an independent filmmaker talk about his processes earlier today, and he said it's about learning. You learn one thing from one film, and you bring it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great advice, and you guys are doing that in spades of like just doing it, and getting the experience is great because then you're like, yeah, you get better. You figure out, like you said, and running out of time and running out of budget and running out of things is great.
Yeah.
Learning because then you go, okay, well, we only have so much. There's only so many hours in a day. Like what shots can we do? What can we do? And you learn. On the set of Barry, they, Bill. On a couple occasions, Alec Berg is a fantastic producer, did Seinfeld, did a bunch of stuff, and he was working on Barry. And there were a couple occasions where, Bill Hader would want to do a shot or want to do it a certain way. And Alec would, he's experienced, been around for forever and knew, and he was just like, you don't have time.
Yeah.
And Bill, being the pro amazing guy that he is, trusted that and was like, okay, like I don't have the time to do it because he's figuring out, and he was doing everything on, he's directing and acting and doing and writing and doing all of it. So it's like he had to trust a guy who has so much experience and is so great at it to know, hey, you can't, there's only so many things you can do. So even on stuff like that, it's like people have to learn their limits, and you think you can, you have ambitions of getting every crane. You're like, okay, what if we do this crane and we come down here? What if we attach the camera to this car or whatever? You're like, well, that'd be nice, but
Right.
everybody's got, every budget has its limits, even, even HBO, even, whatever.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, that's what makes us feel good most of the time is knowing that we're working with no money and what we can achieve with absolutely nothing. It's like, imagine if somebody gave us like $500, we'd make a fucking Marvel movie. Like, my God.
That's all you need. Don't say that. Because then
They'll do it.
You'll find,
They'll be like,
some guy who'll go, all right, I'll give you $500. I need you to make a Marvel movie.
Sold. Here's Great Lakes Avengers. I was like, all right, let's go.
Great Lakes Avengers. Not bad. That's not a bad title.
We could do it. We could totally do it. We could pull it off.
I believe in
My
you.
thing is, ever since Everything Everywhere All at Once and finding out that 5 men did the special effects for that on After Effects, I believe anything is possible.
Oh,
absolutely anything.
Those wizards, man. Yeah, there are some guys, and there are some After Effects houses that are just awesome. And now the technology's advanced so much. Like there are guys that you would think, you would think it was like ILM, and it was just somebody on a new like M2 MacBook or something. You know what I mean? Like the technology's pretty impressive.
Well, like we get a lot of our love for practical effects from horror movies and stuff. And people like Sam Raimi and John Carpenter. For me, Robert Rodriguez was a big influence on me growing up.
Yeah, great.
Because he'd always have like the 5-minute film schools on his DVDs, and he'd even do that for like Spy Kids and stuff. So that's kind of what got me into that. And then I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I told him, we have all this technology now that wasn't available at that time. And I feel like the approach that most people need to be taking is embrace this technology that you have available, but also embrace that indie spirit of that wave of the 90s where it's like, working with what you have with the practical effects and everything. I feel like by blending those two things, you can make anything. I mean,
Yeah.
you can really make something great with
I think
very limited resources.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I also give you guys a lot of credit because I feel like it has gotten harder because the economy's gotten harder.
Mhm.
I think people have to have more jobs. People have to work longer hours. People have to, to pay the bills because real life hits. You know what I mean? Like you have all these ideas and one things, but you got to pay the bills. And I think there are so many people out there that are great actors, great writers, great directors, and they're just not in a position. They're just born into a world where like that they, like it's literally impossible for them to take the time, an hour, 2 hours out of their day to write, to produce, to do all these. And so I think indie film has suffered because of that. You have all these potentially great artists who we never get to see them make their thing because they can't take vacation. Like they can't. So it's just like, I just think it's, it's a shame that hopefully we can sort of, I mean, I don't know if we'll get back to the, salad days of the 90s or whatever, but if we could just figure out how to, lessen the wealth inequality so that, people have opportunities to create, people who don't have the luxury of being born in a position where they can, have time to create. Because right now I think that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot of things being made that maybe aren't, the average person is like, this doesn't speak to me at all because it's being made by people who don't know my struggle, like don't really, aren't being touched by the current reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true.
What's up, Diggs?
Diggs, by the way, 7.
Diggs, by the way, 7. Okay. So many great ideas that the industry is doing out there. I have to say, I feel like, and obviously I could be totally wrong about this, but
I'll tell you. Go ahead.
Yes, please. I feel like we're really on a cusp of another boom, akin to the 90s of Rodriguez and Tarantino and Smith, and you had all these people who brought something new to the table. Because I've noticed, and Shep and I are obviously big, superhero fans and shit like that, and I feel like I'm seeing with the audience now that I think people are getting a little tired of the constant barrage of these things. I know for me, I'm a Star Wars fan. Star Wars Celebration the other day, they announced all these things, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is too much. Like, I don't want to spend all this time watching. Same with Marvel. Like I didn't mind it when the story was good, but now it's like, okay, now you're throwing too much at me. I liked it when it was digestible, and people are starting to kind of fall off with this. It's all there is. I noticed that for like 2 years or so, all I was watching was Marvel, DC, Star Wars, just on a loop because that's what was coming out and being fed to me so much. And so I've gone back to watching indie movies. But last year you have Everything Everywhere All at Once coming out and doing fantastic at the Oscars, and this year especially, a lot of the movies I've seen in theaters are weird. They've been weird ones, and I mean they're so out there, but people are trying new things, and I think
push the envelope.
And more people are wanting to see original things like that.
People want originality these days. They don't want just a different media in a different form.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think people are thirsty for that, and I think I hope you're right. I really do, because that would be great.
Is where it's at.
Yeah, I think it's really hard with the current sort of the way things are now in the business, because the only thing, like tech companies have streaming, and they can afford to do whatever. So that's why you're seeing like Apple TV Plus comes out with some original, unique things, and they're pushing the envelope. And you see Amazon trying to push the envelope or spend a bunch of money a little bit. You see these companies trying to that can afford to do that, but the people who have to, like, listen, they make entertainment for a living, and now it's all streaming. So now they have to make content that people like to get people to sign up for their streaming platform, because that's where they get the money. And movies, I love I love going to the movies. I love big, flashy. I loved like Top Gun. I loved, like there's something very nostalgic to me about, getting popcorn and waiting in line and watching the previews and like sitting and watching a movie with a bunch of people on the biggest screen possible and the sound and everything. So I will always do that, but I also understand the economics of it. Just doesn't make sense for a family of 4 to go to the movies when it's $30 a ticket for IMAX. So you're spending $120 for your family of 4 just on the tickets, and then popcorn's another $100, and it's like, well, there's $300, and that's your water bill, that's your power, that's your like. So it just, I get why people are like, well, why do that when I can pay $10 a month? And get Peacock and get streaming at home. And
well, case in point, I babysit a 3-year-old boy, and we took him to his first movie the other day.
Wow.
The Land Before Time was playing at our theater.
That's great.
And,
it's a great movie.
So we went to see it, and between the 3 of us paid like somewhere between $30 and $40. And then yesterday, Belle's flipping through Netflix. She goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" She goes, "Land Before Time is right here." She's like, "I just paid like $40 to go see this. We could have sat right here and popped some popcorn."
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
It happens. But I'm a theater guy, so I didn't mind that we paid.
I know. I will pay. Like I will. I mean, we are similar in that. Like I will pay to go see because I want the experience. I want to be with an audience. I want to have no distractions. Like I don't want anybody's phone. Like I want everybody to just be like laser focused, and that's nearly impossible.
I will say, that being said, with this being the child's first movie going experience, we'd been training them, giving them the rundown, like, hey, this is how you act in a movie theater. Okay. We could not have got a worse theater of people to take this kid to, because here it is, Land Before Time, and you have these 4 full-grown adults sitting behind us being atrociously loud. They didn't turn their cell phones off. We're telling them that he's got to be quiet, and these other people aren't being quiet. So nobody's setting a good example. It's like we should have gone to see fucking Super Mario Brothers. This is what we get. All these nostalgic sons of bitches in here. So not that they wouldn't be at Super Mario Brothers too, but
yeah, they would. I mean, it's a different. I know. I feel like the old man in the room whenever I'm like, okay, focus. And I always get, it's so funny when I watch with family or friends or whatever, I'm always the one like, hey, I will like pause and be like, all right, are we done? Is everybody done with their phones?
Right.
Like, let's watch this. Let's focus. Yeah. It's hard. Everybody, and I get it. Like we're all busy and running around, and like we said, because of the economics of things, everybody's got 10 other things going on, and everybody's got to answer emails, and everybody's on all the time, and everybody's working their butts off. So it's like, I mean, I sympathize, but come on, people at the movies, turn it off. Let's go.
Yeah, come on.
Oh yeah.
And when you're watching Ride on Hallmark, turn it off.
Damn it.
That's what we should do. I want to start a campaign to tell people I'm not gonna promote the show as much as I'm gonna like accost people. Hey, is your phone off?
Right.
Hey, phone off? You watching?
Hey, my character's on screen. What are you doing? That's not important. That's important. Look at these two. Look at these two.
Yeah.
They're beautiful people. Watch them. Stop it. Put down your phone.
This is good, wholesome content. There's nothing wholesome on that phone of yours.
Nothing wholesome. No. Nothing wholesome on that phone. Tune to Hallmark and just put the phone down. Put it down. Get some popcorn. Have a family night. Like everybody said. I told somebody the other day, I was like, force your kids to watch with you on Sunday night. Like, listen, it is the one show on television where you might have something for everybody. Like there's rodeo, there's action, there's cowboys, there's romance, there's legitimately, like you can't please all the people all the time.
Well, I bet there's not a couple of handsome stoners, I'm sure.
They're there. They're just in the background.
They're there. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're at the rodeo. In the back.
That's what we need to start. We need to start appealing to this fan base. We need to just have you guys in the audience at the rodeo, just waving in the background. That's
like, I feel like our new secret goal. I mean, we make all these shorts and stuff, but now like we have this secret plan for world domination where we just cameo in as many things as possible.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Pop up everywhere.
Yeah. I think it's the Jay and Silent Bob path of success. Eventually, you get enough things, as like tangential characters, you're gonna get your own movie.
Exactly.
That's very true.
Exactly.
That's very true.
But,
It's very true.
but hell, I met Kevin Smith not too long ago. He said that they're making a third one of those things. So I mean, we might get three. We might get 3 movies.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Back in October, I went to the Clerks 3 convenience tour, and I met
nice.
him. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to meet Kevin Smith.
I haven't. No.
Phenomenal guy. I mean,
Really?
one of the most personable people I've ever met in my life.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's great to hear.
It was dope. They say never meet your heroes. Well, I did.
Yeah.
He was better than I expected. So
he seems lovely. Yeah, I've never met him, but he seems lovely. I mean, usually you can kind of tell, but who knows? So that's good to hear. He's actually a decent human.
You're on my phone right now. Well, we're not the most wholesome show on YouTube. So
well, you are for this moment. This hour.
For this hour, brought to you by Hallmark's Ride.
This is the most wholesome Chase and Shep have been in their duration. After this hour, you back to the blood and guts and the horror. What were you saying?
Right.
Sorry.
So next week we'll get into the 420, the marijuanas, and all that good stuff. So
yeah.
Sure will.
Exactly. All right. Well, what else we got? We got what, like 5 minutes?
We got 5 minutes, so let's start winding it down. One time for the mind, some closing thoughts from everybody. I'll go first.
Start us off. Okay. Closing thoughts.
Hallmark. I think it's a good idea. Chase and Shep. I mean, we've been looking for a wholesome challenge. I think we might do better at Lifetime, but we don't want to do Lifetime. We want Hallmark. So if you want to give us our first wholesome challenge, we're waiting. We're waiting.
Yeah. I mean, this is for the mind. I think there's nothing better than a wholesome, uplifting, action-packed, romantic show to sit down on Sunday nights and watch with the family. You may have to force your loved ones. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they think that Hallmark is only Christmas movies that are positive and uplifting. Maybe they don't know Hallmark is making original content that is moving beyond and has action and drama and cowboys and all that stuff. So inform them and then force them to sit down and watch on Sunday nights. Catch them up on Peacock and then force them to sit down on Sunday nights and watch it. My last thought, honestly, is you guys are great. I'm excited for your stuff coming up on 420.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
It'll be super fun.
We are as well.
Yeah.
Shep, any life things going on with you?
Not really, to tell you the truth. I usually did like a music release on 420, but this year I just decided to do just one song through it in the 420 thing we're doing. So I'll probably release it after 420, but gearing up for some Halloween stuff. Wow. We got our Halloween thing we're going to be filming probably here in a couple months. I know Chase has a project he's going to film. Really just hyped for this whatchamacallit film we're going to be in.
Yeah. You're going to be off shooting that. Wait, when you're going off to shoot that, and you don't know when it's going to be out or anything. But when are you going off to shoot it?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Okay. Cool. That's exciting. That'll be so fun. I would love for you guys to just be like start getting parts in like every little, like indie movies, just like the indie darlings.
I think what I'll do, I have a not for kids book in the works.
Wait. Like you're saying, like literally, it's not like it's
not for kids. It's a kids book that's not for kids. It's called Why Are Daddy's Eyes So Red? It's for all the stoner parents out there. And I'm telling you, Hallmark, I'm willing to sell the rights, and we can develop it into a new original. Why Are Daddy's Eyes So Red? A new Hallmark original.
Okay, listen. I mean, listen. One step at a time, man. Listen. I believe everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves to see themselves be loved and see themselves in wholesome entertainment. One step at a time. You're really pushing the envelope.
That's what we're here to do. Chase and Shep are nothing if not ambitious.
We are very ambitious.
Right.
We are
darn right.
I want to say that GCB was ahead of its time.
Oh,
Love that
amen,
show.
amen. I did too. Yeah, I love that show. Everybody. Sometimes I'll still get, like an email from Kristen Chenoweth. She's such a sweetheart, but she doesn't know how to email. So she'll put the entire subject, the entire like bulk of the content of the email in the subject line.
Love it.
Subject line, all caps, the entire email. So you have to click it and highlight it to scroll through and see what the heck she's saying.
Oh, that's funny.
Hilarious. She is hilarious. Yeah, that was a great show. If you like GCB, you would like this. It's modern Western and fun. So yeah, I highly recommend.
Well, I'll definitely be checking out Ride here at some point.
I know I sound like a corporate shill selling it so much, but I genuinely think
we love it. Your success is our success, Tyler. Keep going.
That's right. Hey, yeah, likewise. Let's all get all of Central Illinois. Get everybody in Illinois, everybody in Indiana.
We're working on it. There's quite a scene growing out here. I did. I will say this. We've had you on the show, and there's another guy. Actually, the guy who's directing the movie we're in. He's from Seidel.
Really?
Yes. So
I might know. How old is he?
He's oh boy,
older than you.
He's not watching. Yes, he's he went to high school with my mom. So
okay.
But he directed a movie last year called Holes in the Sky. It was a found footage film, and apparently it won more awards than the Blair Witch Project. It beat out the Blair Witch Project as the most awarded found footage movie of all time.
Wow.
So we had him on the show a little while back, but like Shep said, I'm working on a project independent from Chase and Shep, and we've been we were having auditions for it, and I had somebody audition who was also from Seidel, and he was feeling a little down on himself. He kind of had that thing of like, oh well, I'm from small town USA, like I'd love to do this kind of thing, and I stopped him in his tracks and I said, listen. I said, check out our channel. I said, you go find Tyler Jacob Moore. I said, you go find Ash Hamilton. I said, you go find these people because they are doing what it is that you want to do. They are proof that it doesn't matter that you live here.
Yeah, that's right. I'm so glad you brought that up at the end. Yeah, that is a great because every time I'm on, I so want to like drill that into people's heads. Like wherever you live, if you think I'm so far away from Hollywood, I'm so far away from like New York, I'm so far away from these, big cities. I wasn't born into money. I wasn't born into any sort of, privilege or opportunities. How could I possibly? Just if you love it, do it. Like make art. If you're an artist, yes, you have to pay the bills. Yes, we've all got to work. And yes, it's way harder for, people who have to work 8, 10, 12, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week to pay the bills. But you know what? There's some time. There's always some time available. And if you love it, do it because you love it. Don't do it to make money. Don't do it to be famous. Don't do it to be, whatever, some, whatever celebrity, some like influencer or whatever. Like if you love whatever the art is, directing, writing, painting, sculpting, singing, songwriting, acting, whatever, do it, whether you're in Seidel or Champaign or Catlin or any small town and anywhere across the country, anywhere in the world, pursue your goals and dreams. And the act of doing it is the thing. You may never, you may never get on the Oscar stage. You may never, reach the heights of whatever, but you may. And who cares? Who cares about, worldly accolades and awards or even, wealth? Like contentment is success. And if you're creating art because you love it, that's contentment. And if you're good at, people will find you. Like you guys are doing this channel and it's like, people are finding you and digging your vibe, and you guys love like horror and practical effects. And I'm so glad you brought that up.
Well, and I'm going to say right there is a perfect segue to end the show. Again, I don't have an outro video made this month because it's been a very busy month. But next week on the show, speaking of somebody who just happened to start watching the show and dig our vibe, we have Ron Chevry joining us. He is a really chill dude working on a horror film right now, but he's also an animator who's worked on some of your childhood favorites like Space Jam, Quest for Camelot, All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. His IMDb will make you nostalgic all over. And he just worked on the Academy Award winning short film, The Boy, the Fox, the Mole, and the Horse. I believe that's how it's
Okay.
yes, I believe that's the title. Ron
How cool
Chevry
is
next
that?
week on the show.
Yeah, check it out. That's awesome.
Yeah. If Space Jam doesn't get you here next week, I don't know what will. That's all I ever want to talk to Ron about. It's like he's a cool dude. We talked for
Seriously.
2 hours the other day, and I was like, I could have talked more about Space Jam. I'm sure he,
Seriously.
you know,
Yeah, same.
but
I'm listen. If I don't have to do some sort of promotional thing, I'm going to tune in and check out Space, just to hear about Space Jam. Really, you see your beautiful faces.
Yeah. He's coming on the week. I just was telling Shep earlier. I was like, he's coming on for the week of 420, and we're gonna want to kind of stay on that topic. But everybody's just gonna want to be like, so you worked on Space Jam, you know?
Right.
Like tell us about that. It is probably a short story too, so it's like, you know,
awesome.
Tune in for that short story.
Yeah, seriously, I'm so excited.
And then we got the Monday
so cool.
Music Showcase the week after that. So
okay,
thanks for tuning in, Tyler. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome,
Tyler. Thank you so much. Check out Ride, everybody. Sunday nights. You better watch it and turn your phone off.
Turn that fucking phone off.
Turn your phone off. Force your family to sit down. Wherever you're at, wherever you're from, we accept everybody. Stoners, old, young, old, whatever you got.
Peace.
Later.